Guys, what is the paranormal story that no one would believe you? 1. The boy in the closet. When I was 9, I kept hearing whispers from my closet every night. I thought it was just my imagination until one night I clearly heard a boy say, "I'm still here." I opened the door and all my clothes were pushed to one side, revealing a cold patch on the wall with scratches like fingernails. Years later, we found out a kid had gone missing in that house decades before we moved in. No one ever believed me, but I never slept with the door closed again. 2. The woman in the mirror. In college, I had a mirror in my dorm that always gave me a weird feeling. One night I was brushing my teeth and looked up to see a woman behind me in the reflection, pale, expressionless, wearing old-fashioned clothes. I turned around and nothing was there, but my roommate walked in seconds later and asked why I was crying. I wasn't. That mirror disappeared from our room 2 days later. I still have dreams of that woman just standing behind me. 3. The laugh in the forest. I went camping with some friends and got separated from the group. As I walked alone through the woods, I heard laughter, high-pitched, echoing like a child's. It followed me for nearly 20 minutes, no matter where I turned. When I finally found the group, they asked where I'd been. I told them and they looked at each other. Apparently, that forest is known locally for being haunted by a laughing child. None of them had told me beforehand. 4. My grandpa's voice. My grandfather died when I was 13. A week after his funeral, I was alone in the house and the phone rang. I answered it and heard his voice, calm and clear, saying, "Don't worry, kiddo. I'm still watching." Then silence. Caller ID said unknown. I ran out of the house in tears. To this day, I keep wondering if it was real or just grief messing with me, but it sounded exactly like him. 5. The shadow on the ceiling. As a teen, I often stayed up reading late into the night. One time I looked up and saw a dark shape crawling across the ceiling fast, like a spider, but human-shaped. I froze. It stopped directly above my bed and then vanished. I thought I dreamed it until my younger sister described seeing the exact same thing a year later. We'd never talked about it before. I haven't slept in that room since. 6. The locked door. I was house-sitting for a friend. One of the rooms in the house was always locked and I was told to ignore it. One night I heard noises coming from inside like someone dragging something heavy. I called my friend in a panic. He calmly said it happens sometimes. Just ignore it. I never went back. Later I found out the previous owner died in that room and the door hasn't opened since. 7. My doppelganger. I walked into the kitchen and saw myself standing at the sink. Not a reflection. An actual person who looked exactly like me, wearing the same clothes I was wearing the day before. The other me turned around, smiled faintly, and then faded. I almost fainted. My family thought I was losing it. I still have dreams where I see that version of myself just staring, doing nothing. 8. The clock that knew. My grandma had this old wall clock that had stopped working years ago. It just hung there, broken. The night she died, the clock suddenly chimed loudly at exactly 2:17 a.m., the time on her death certificate. It never made a sound before or after that. When I mentioned it at the funeral, everyone brushed it off. But I know what I heard, and the coincidence was too exact. 9. A hand under my bed. I was lying in bed one night and dropped my phone. As I reached down to grab it, I felt a hand touch mine, ice cold, dry, and too long-fingered to be human. I yanked my hand back and turned the lights on, but there was nothing there. I didn't sleep that night. A week later, my little brother said he saw someone crawl under my bed while I was asleep. No one believes us. 10. The woman in the photo. My aunt gave me a photo album from her youth. Flipping through it, I stopped at a picture of her and some friends, and in the background was a woman with no face, just a blur. I asked her about it and she went pale. She said that figure appeared in several photos from that year, but no one ever saw her in real life. I scanned the photo and the figure is still there. No editing, no damage. Just wrong. 11. The hotel room that wasn't empty. I stayed at an old hotel during a business trip. At 2:33 a.m. I woke up to the sound of a shower running. I thought I was dreaming until I saw steam seeping from the bathroom. I opened the door, nothing. Dry, cold, dark. I mentioned it at checkout and the clerk got pale. "That room's bathroom hasn't worked in years," he said. "I still have the bill that says room 409. 12. The voice that knew my name. When I was hiking alone, I heard someone call my name from deep in the woods. It was my mom's voice, but she was hundreds of miles away. It repeated my name, closer each time, until I ran back to my car. I called her right after, and she swore she had just woken up from a dream where I was lost and calling out to her. We both cried. 13. The dead man's laughter. My uncle passed away unexpectedly and I was helping clean out his house. I found an old tape recorder, hit play, and heard his laugh. Then he said, "I knew you'd come looking." I dropped it. There were no other tapes. I asked my mom and she said he never owned a recorder. We burned the thing the next day. 14. The passenger. Driving home one night on an empty road, I saw a woman on the shoulder in a white dress. As I passed her, my headlights flickered, and when they came back on, she was in my back seat in the mirror. I screamed and slammed the brakes. When I turned around, no one was there. I never drove that road again. 15. The eyes in the window. As a kid, I used to sleep with my curtains open. One night, I saw two glowing red eyes staring from outside. We lived on the second floor. I screamed and my dad ran in, nothing there. But the next morning, there were two muddy prints on the wall right below my window. The size of bare feet. Human. Still haunts me. 16. The room that repeats. I rented a cheap Airbnb in the countryside. First night, I walked into the kitchen and dropped my glass. When I went back to clean it up, it was like it had never happened. The glass was whole, back on the counter. Next morning, the same sequence happened again. Like a loop. I left early and never looked back. 17. The crib that rocked. When my daughter was born, we kept her crib in our bedroom. One night I heard it rocking while she slept. I looked over and saw a woman sitting next to it humming a lullaby. I blinked and she was gone. My daughter still hums that same tune in her sleep. We never taught it to her. 18. The screaming basement. We moved into a new house with a locked basement door. One night we heard screaming coming from under the floor, like someone begging for help. The landlord told us it was just old pipes. We moved out 2 weeks later. The next tenants found chains bolted to the walls down there. 19. The birthday call. Every year on my birthday, I get a call at 3:12 a.m. A man whispers, "Happy birthday," and hangs up. It started the year my dad died, exact same time he passed. I've changed phones, numbers, even moved. The call always comes. No caller ID. I stopped picking up after year 5. 20. The painting that watches. My mom bought a painting at an antique store. It was of a woman with bright green eyes. That night, I had a dream she was sitting at the edge of my bed. I woke up sweating and saw the painting had fallen off the wall, face down. We threw it out, but for weeks afterward, I dreamed of her smiling at me in the dark. 21. The closet visitor. Every night at exactly 3:04 a.m., my closet door creaks open just a bit. I used to think it was loose hinges until I set up a camera. At 3:04, the door opened, and a tall, dark figure stepped halfway out, staring at the bed. Then it stepped back and closed the door. The footage corrupted before the figure's face could be seen. 22. My doppelganger in the kitchen. I walked into the kitchen and saw myself standing there, pouring coffee. I froze. The other me turned, smiled, and said, "I already did today's mistakes." Then it vanished. I checked the cameras, nothing. But my coffee was warm. I still wonder who was in control that day. 23. Grandma's chair. My grandmother died in her sleep in her favorite rocking chair. We never moved it. At night, it rocks by itself. I once whispered, "Hi, Grandma," and the chair stopped mid-rock. The next day, her favorite perfume lingered in the hallway. We've never touched that chair again. 24. The crying in the woods. Camping alone, I heard a baby crying in the woods. I knew that was a trick predators used, but curiosity pulled me in. I found a clearing and the crying stopped. Then I heard it behind me. I ran. I don't know what I saw in the trees, tall, gray, with no face, but I haven't camped since. 25. The black-eyed girl. I was walking home from work when a little girl asked for help finding her dog. Her eyes were pitch black. I mumbled an excuse and walked faster. She screamed, "Don't leave me here," in a voice way too deep for a child. I turned back, she was gone. I still dream of her calling my name. 26. The missing hour. I was driving home and suddenly it was dark. My clock jumped an hour forward. I had no memory of that hour, no skipped road, no sleep, no stop. Just gone. That night, I noticed a small scar behind my ear that wasn't there before. I still don't know what happened. 27. The locked door that opened. We kept the attic locked because of squirrels. One night, we heard footsteps above us. Heavy ones. I opened the door and saw the light on. As I climbed the stairs, the light flickered off and the door slammed shut behind me. I was alone, or maybe not. There was breathing in the dark. 28. The ghost in the mirror. I was brushing my teeth when I saw someone walk behind me in the mirror, but I was alone. The figure stopped, looked at me, and smiled. I turned fast, no one. But when I looked back in the mirror, it was still there, grinning. I broke that mirror the same night. 29. The room that shouldn't exist. As a kid, I found a small door behind my closet. Inside was a perfectly clean room with a bed, toys, and drawings on the wall of me. I asked my parents about it and they said they'd never seen it before. The next day, the door was gone. Drywall sealed it up like it was never there. 30. The message on the wall. During a thunderstorm, the power went out. Lightning flashed, and on my living room wall, written in what looked like ash, were the words, "I never left." I thought I imagined it, but when the lights came back, it was still there. A week later, it faded slowly day by day, like it was letting go. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know your own experiences in the comments. It could be in a video, and please subscribe.